She brought him dinner at work, but found her own cousin sitting on his lap. The dinner slipped from her hands, hit the floor, foil peeling open like a wound. Steam rose slowly into the cold air. But Nora didn't look down. She couldn't, because what she saw in front of her, in her husband's office, on his desk, was a betrayal so deep, so personal, so unforgivable, that her heart stopped beating for 3 full seconds. His shirt was unbuttoned. Her hands were on his chest. And when the woman turned around, Nora's knees buckled. It wasn't just any woman. It was someone she loved, someone she trusted, someone who called her family. Welcome to Folktale Echoes by Leora. Sit back and enjoy this heartbreaking story. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're new here, click on the subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Rain hammered against the windshield as Nora drove through the empty streets of the city. The wipers moved back and forth in a slow rhythm, clearing the water just enough for her to see the blurred lights ahead. In the passenger seat sat a warm casserole dish wrapped tightly in aluminum foil. She had spent 2 hours making Daniel's favorite meal, baked chicken with mashed potatoes and gravy, the kind he used to beg for when they first got married. She smiled to herself, imagining his face when she walked through the door. He had been working late almost every night for the past 3 months. She knew he was tired, stressed, probably hungry. So tonight she decided to surprise him. Just show up at his office with dinner and maybe, just maybe, remind him that she was still there. Still his wife. Still waiting. Her phone buzzed on the dashboard. A text from Daniel. Still swamped with work, babe. Don't wait up. She typed back quickly. I won't. Love you. But even as she sent it, something felt off. He had been distant lately. Cold. When she hugged him, his body felt stiff. When she asked about his day, his answers were short. Vague. Her best friend Lauren had noticed it too. Last week, over coffee, Lauren had leaned in close and whispered, Nora, I'm not trying to start anything, but something feels wrong with Daniel. I can't explain it. Just be careful. Nora had laughed it off, told her she was overthinking. But now, sitting alone in the car with rain pounding the roof, Lauren's words echoed in her mind. She shook her head. No, she wasn't going to let doubt ruin her marriage. Love meant trust. And she trusted Daniel. She had to. The office building loomed ahead, dark and quiet. Most of the windows were black. Only a few lights flickered on the upper floors. Nora parked near the entrance and grabbed the casserole dish, balancing her umbrella in the other hand. As she stepped out into the rain, a chill ran down her spine. The building felt too still. Too empty. She pushed through the glass doors and into the lobby. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. At the front desk sat Mr. Lawson, the night security guard. He was an older man, maybe in his 60s, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. But tonight, when he saw Nora, his smile froze. His eyes widened just slightly, just enough for her to notice. Good evening, Mrs. Bennett, he said slowly, his voice strained. Nora smiled warmly. Hi, Mr. Lawson. I'm here to see Daniel. I brought him dinner. She lifted the dish slightly, as if to prove her intentions were innocent. Mr. Lawson shifted in his seat. His fingers tapped nervously on the desk. He's still upstairs. In his office. There was something in his tone. Something heavy. Something unspoken. Nora tilted her head. Is everything okay? Mr. Lawson hesitated. For a moment, it looked like he wanted to say something. Warn her. Stop her. But instead he just nodded. Yeah, everything's fine. Go on up. Nora thanked him and walked toward the elevator. Behind her, she heard Mr. Lawson sigh deeply. She didn't turn around. If she had, maybe she would have seen the guilt written all over his face. The elevator doors slid shut, trapping her in a small metal box that smelled faintly of disinfectant. The hum of the motor filled the silence. Nora watched the numbers light up one by one. Floor 2. Floor 3. Her phone buzzed again. A voice note from Daniel. She pressed play. His voice came through rushed and breathy. Hey babe. Don't wait up tonight, okay? We're really busy. Probably won't be home until after midnight. The voicemail was time-stamped 2 minutes ago. Nora frowned. Mr. Lawson just said Daniel was upstairs. In his office. Right now. So why would he send a message telling her not to come? If he didn't know she was coming? Her heart started to pound. The elevator dinged. Floor 6. The doors opened. Nora stepped out into a dim hallway. Most of the office doors were closed. Dark. Empty. But at the end of the hall, Daniel's office door was cracked open. A sliver of warm light spilled into the hallway. And then, she heard it. A woman's laugh. Soft. Playful. Intimate. Nora froze. Her breath caught in her throat. Her fingers tightened around the casserole dish. No, it couldn't be. Maybe it was a colleague, a client, someone harmless. But her feet wouldn't move, because deep down, in the place where instinct lives, she already knew. She already felt it. Betrayal has a sound, and she was hearing it now. Nora forced herself to move. One step, then another. The hallway felt longer than it should have. The laughter grew louder. She reached the door and gently pushed it open. The hinges creaked softly. And then, she saw them. Daniel sat on the leather couch in his office, his shirt unbuttoned halfway down his chest. A young woman straddled his lap, her arms draped around his neck. Her fingers played with his hair. His hands gripped her waist. Their faces were inches apart. Smiling. Whispering. The casserole dish slipped from Nora's hands. It hit the floor with a loud crash. Foil ripped open. Gravy splattered across the tile. The sound shattered the moment like glass. Daniel's head snapped toward the door. His eyes went wide. His face drained of color. "Nora?" he whispered. The woman scrambled off his lap, stumbling backward. Her face flushed red. And then, she turned around. Nora's entire world collapsed. It wasn't just any woman. It was Maya. Her cousin. Her baby cousin. The girl Nora had practically raised after her aunt passed away. The girl Nora had paid school fees for. Bought clothes for. Invited into her home for Christmas dinners and birthdays. The girl who called her big sis. Maya stood there now, lipstick smudged. Hair messy. Eyes filled with guilt and defiance all at once. Nora couldn't breathe. Couldn't speak. Couldn't think. Daniel jumped to his feet, buttoning his shirt frantically. "Nora, wait. This isn't what it looks like." His voice cracked. Nora finally found her voice. Came out quiet. Calm. Deadly. "Then what is it, Daniel?" He opened his mouth. Closed it. Looked at Maya. Looked back at Nora. It just happened. Maya stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. "Nora, please. I didn't mean for this to happen. I love him. We love each other." Those words, "we love each other," hit Nora like a physical blow. Her vision blurred. Her chest tightened. She wanted to scream. To cry. To collapse. But instead, something else happened. Something she didn't expect. Strength. Cold. Hard. Unshakable strength. She straightened her back. Looked Daniel in the eyes. And said quietly, "Both of you. Out of my house by morning." Daniel's face went pale. "Nora, please." She turned and walked out of the office. Behind her, Maya sobbed. Daniel called her name. But Nora didn't stop. Didn't look back. She walked down the hallway. Got into the elevator. And let the doors close. When she reached the lobby, Mr. Lawson was standing near the entrance. He looked at her with sad, knowing eyes. "Mrs. Bennet." He started softly. Nora stopped. Mr. Lawson sighed. "I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you. I really did. But it wasn't my place." Nora's voice was steady. "How long?" He hesitated, then quietly said, "A few months. They've been meeting here after hours. I've seen them come in together. Leave together. I thought. Maybe you knew." Nora nodded slowly. "Thank you for being honest." She walked past him and out into the rain. Behind her, she heard the glass doors swing shut. She stood there for a moment, letting the rain soak through her coat, letting the cold numb the pain. And then she heard footsteps. Daniel ran out into the rain, his shirt still half unbuttoned. "Nora, please. Just listen to me." He grabbed her arm. She turned slowly. Her eyes were empty. "Hello. I listened to you for 6 years, Daniel. Tonight, You listen to me. We're done. Daniel fell to his knees in the rain. Please. I'll do anything. I'll end it with her. I'll go to therapy. Just don't leave me. Nora looked down at him. And for a moment, she almost felt sorry for him. Almost. But then she remembered Maya's hands on his chest, her lipstick on his collar, the way they looked at each other. And the pity vanished. She pulled her arm free, got into her car, locked the doors, and drove away. In the rearview mirror, she saw Daniel kneeling in the rain, Maya standing in the doorway, both of them crying. But Nora didn't cry. Not yet. When she got home, Nora walked straight to the bedroom. She opened the closet and pulled out a small lockbox from the top shelf. Inside was a folder she had prepared months ago. Divorce papers. Her lawyer had told her to wait, to gather proof, to be sure. Now, she was sure. She placed the papers neatly on the dining table, right where Daniel would see them in the morning. Then she walked to the bathroom, stood in front of the mirror, and slowly, she took off her wedding ring. The gold band felt heavy in her palm. She stared at it for a long time, and then, she set it on the counter. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. Are you okay, sweetheart? Nora's hands trembled as she typed back. No, but I will be. Can I come home? Her mother's response was instant. Always. I'm here. And that's when Nora finally let herself cry. She sank to the floor, wrapped her arms around her knees, and sobbed, not because she lost Daniel, but because she had wasted 6 years of her life on a man who never deserved her, on a love that was never real. But even through the tears, even through the pain, Nora felt something else. Relief, freedom, strength. She had survived the worst night of her life, and she was still standing. If you've made it this far, hit that like button, because Nora's story is far from over. 3 months later, Nora moved into a small apartment across town. She started therapy, began journaling, reconnected with old friends. Daniel tried to reach out, sent flowers, called, showed up at her mother's house. But Nora never answered. Maya sent a long apology text, begging for forgiveness, blaming Daniel, blaming herself. Nora blocked her number. Some betrayals don't deserve second chances. Slowly, Nora began to heal. She learned that her worth was never tied to Daniel, that love should never require her to shrink, to endure, to forgive the unforgivable. She learned that sometimes, the worst thing that happens to you is also the thing that saves you. And 1 year later, on the anniversary of that rainy night, Nora stood in front of the mirror again. But this time she smiled, because the woman looking back at her was stronger, wiser, whole. She had survived betrayal, and she had chosen herself. So let me ask you, what would you have done if you were Nora? Would you have stayed? Would you have forgiven? Or would you have walked away like she did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if this touched your heart, subscribe, because the next story is even more powerful. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thank you for watching.